Welcome to Daily Drive for Thursday, June 11th, 2026. I'm Kellen Walker in Las Vegas. Today on the show, the UAW and Dauch have a deal at a key American axle plant in Michigan. Volvo's top U.S. manufacturing chief is out, just months before the launch of its best-selling model on American soil. And the Gordie Howe Bridge was supposed to open Friday. It's not. Plus, Honda is going after Toyota on two fronts. And our own Dauch says the timing is no accident.
Toyota has famously had some supply issues because of retooling at their factories. So from what I understand, Honda is like, let's strike while the iron is hot with these updates.
Let's run through all the news you need to know to keep up in the auto industry. The UAW and Dauch have a deal, and a strike that threatened GM's most profitable trucks may be over. After 10 days on the picket line at an American axle plant in Three Rivers, Michigan, about 1,000 union workers are expected to head back to work if they ratify the agreement. The tentative deal boosts wages 36% over 4 years, getting production workers to $30 an hour by 2030. UAW President Shawn Fain called it winning back a big chunk of what was taken from them. We'll have more on this in a minute with Kurt Nagel of our sibling publication, Crane's Detroit Business. Volvo's top U.S. manufacturing chief is out after less than a year on the job. Miguel Tavera, Volvo's vice president of America's manufacturing and supply chain, has resigned after just 9 months. Volvo confirmed the departure but didn't say why. Global production chief Nicholas Guibert is filling in for now. Here's why it matters. Volvo's $1.3 billion South Carolina plant is about 6 months away from launching the XC60, its best-selling model built on U.S. soil for the first time. Whoever steps in has to hit the ground running. And the Gordie Howe Bridge was supposed to open Friday. Now it's going to have to wait longer. The Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority announced Thursday that the $4.6 billion crossing is delayed while the U.S. and Canada iron out their differences. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney said it would open by the end of the week, but a White House official told Bloomberg News that President Trump hadn't budged. No new date has been set. For an auto industry built on just-in-time delivery, this border crossing isn't just a bridge. It's a way to ease one of the biggest trade bottlenecks in North America. And those are today's headlines. You can find more details on all those stories at autonews.com. Joining me now is Kurt Nagel, reporter at our sibling publication, Crane's Detroit Business, who has been covering the Dauch strike. Kurt, welcome back to Daily Drive.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so workers would get a 36% wage increase over 4 years. What else is in the deal?
Yeah, so the other big thing is no healthcare premium cost increases over the life of the contract. That was a big thing that the UAW was trying to push, was make members pay a little more out of pocket. That was a big win. Additionally, there's more holidays, more time off for Christmas, MLK Junior Day, Veterans Day, and 9 vacation days for those with a year of seniority. And finally, icing on the cake, a $2,000 ratification bonus for members as well.
Nice. So what do we know, if anything, about how the rank and file are reacting to this as they get ready to vote on ratification?
Generally, I think they are feeling really positively about the deal, the tentative agreement that management and UAW have reached. They've been on strike for about 10 days, and most of the top things that they were asking for have been achieved. So I'd be really surprised if it didn't get ratified by a simple majority here in the next couple of days.
All right. Good stuff. Kurt Nagel, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Honda has been scrambling to reset its production strategy after pivoting hard toward EVs, and now it's turning its attention back to its core models. The Accord is getting what sources describe as far more than a typical mid-cycle refresh, and the Passport is getting a suspension lift and ruggedness upgrade on its Trail Sport trim. The timing, sources say, is deliberate. Toyota has been dealing with supply constraints from factory retooling, and Honda wants to take advantage. Our own Dauch wrote about it this week for Automotive News. He sat down with our own Jake Neer to talk about what's changing on both models, what Honda is hoping to accomplish, and what it tells us about where the brand is headed now that EVs are off the table.
Urvaksh, welcome back to Daily Drive.
Thanks for having me back.
Okay, so we've been talking about these new updates for Honda models. Let's start with the Accord. So is this simply a mid-cycle refresh, or is it more than that?
Yeah, so this is technically a mid-cycle refresh, but according to people familiar with this update, it's a lot more than just a minor tweak to the front and rear fascias, which is what a typical refresh is. From what I understand, the Accord is sort of getting a design update. People who have seen it describe it as more modern and futuristic. The rear is getting a bit of a makeover. It's becoming more angular, sharp edged versus more of the sort of the curvy lines of the existing Accord. The front is also getting changes with tweaks to the grille. The grille has been described as being more sleek, more slender. The headlights have been also better integrated into the new front fascia. And again, on the inside, there have been changes. It's been described as ergonomic. I guess that means that the layout has been improved a little bit, and the infotainment system has also increased. So all in all, it's a pretty hefty update to Accord. As Honda tries to take more market share from Toyota. The Accord's market share, it is number 2 after the Camry, and it recently overtook the Nissan Altima. So, Honda is doubling down on sedans. They see the opportunity as the Detroit 3 and several other manufacturers have exited the market. And with current, fuel prices being high, affordability being an issue across the industry, sedans sort of maybe having their, renaissance. And Honda wants to be there for it.
Are there any changes to the powertrain options here?
Yeah, so as far as I understand, the engines are carrying over, the ICE engines. However, Honda is potentially going to introduce its S Plus shift system, which is essentially a step gear system. It's a quick reacting simulated manual mode for its hybrids that kind of mimic a double clutch shifts. And so they are thinking of they're considering bringing it to the Accord with this refresh. It debuted on the Prelude, and it's also going to be expanded to the Civic hybrid in the fall. So that would kind of be an interesting little update for the Accord hybrid. And longer term, from what I understand, is that the Accord could go hybrid only, once the redesign comes around towards the end of the decade. So that's another interesting thing to watch regarding this model.
So what about the Passport? It's interesting because it seems like the timing is especially interesting with the Passport. I think it's only been it hasn't been too long since some updates on that model. What's new?
Right. So the Passport is interesting. They're bringing an update to the midsize crossover at the end of this year in Q4 2026, and that's about a year after they redesigned the vehicle. However, this update is focused on the rugged trail sport trim, and it might be that Honda is essentially introducing an additional trim. From what my sources have said, this version would be more lifted. It would basically get about a little over an inch of ride height, making it the tallest vehicle in its segment, which is the mid-size crossover segment. And again, here Honda is sort of making a play for the adventure-oriented market. The Passport has always been a rugged vehicle, marketed as a rugged vehicle, but this is taking it to the next level. One person described this as Honda giving the Passport more testosterone, essentially referring to it as being more muscular, more rugged. While the biggest change is this update to the suspension and related tweaks, which will make the Passport, or which will make this version more capable for off-road driving. There will be some minor changes to the body, primarily the front fascia and the grille, to give it a distinct look from the more mainstream Passport.
So overall, taking all of this as one thing, what is Honda really hoping from this? There's been a lot of news around their product lineup lately. What's the goal?
Yeah, I mean the goal. I mean these are incremental changes. The goal obviously is to figure out where the brand goes from a product standpoint. Now that the EVs are off the table, all the focus on EVs essentially led Honda to take their ball off the hybrid R&D, which is what they are scrambling to now address. Longer term, in the next 2 years and onwards, they will be launching their next generation hybrid powertrains, both for their smaller cars, but also for their large vehicles. In this case, with these two updates, really the focus is to take on Toyota in two distinct areas. With the Accord, they're going after obviously the affordable sedan market, competing with the Camry, and with the Passport changes, they're going after the TRD, the off-road TRD trims of Toyotas, primarily the 4Runner, which is the competitor to Passport. So they kind of hope to gain market share. Toyota has famously had some supply issues because of retooling at their factories. So from what I understand, Honda is like, let's strike while the iron is hot with these updates. If Toyota is not able to supply the market, here we are with these freshened product.
Urvax Karkaria, always on top of it for us at Automotive News. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you, Jake.
That's Daily Drive for today. I'm Kellen Walker. Thanks to Automotive News executive producer Jake Neer, as well as our own Kurt Nagel, Anna Fafelsky, and David Eggert of our sibling publication, Crane's Detroit Business. You can get the latest news on the UAW's Dauch strike, Honda's product strategy, and everything happening in the auto industry at autonews.com. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know what you think of the show and the topics we covered today. Send us an email at dailydrive@autonews.com or leave us a voicemail at 313-444-2774. And if you enjoyed the podcast, remember to like, leave a review, and subscribe so you never miss an episode.